We have a conversation on a show that will be premiering today at 4:30 p.m. on Metro Television. We delve into the issues and return from the break.
Friends and family, it's coding time on Code Factory. Come, let's play and learn how to write codes. At Code Factory, we learn Scratch, HTML and CSS, robotics and artificial intelligence. And tell you what, Python is not only a reptile, but a programming language too. It's fun and it doesn't bite. Code Factory, coding for the now and the future.
Hello again. Welcome back to the show. So as you rightly saw on your screen, that show will be premiering at 4:30 p.m. today. That is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as well. So it will be running from Monday to Wednesday every other day from 4:30 p.m. here on Metro Television. So let me tell a bit of what it's about. And Code Factory is an IT show targeted at the young and the young at heart who want to learn coding and other programming languages. It premieres today, as I rightly mentioned, at 4:30 p.m. here on Metro Television and also on DSTV channel 277. It is powered by Nerasol, the IT conglomerate of the Jospon Group of companies. So I've been joined in the studio by the instructors of Code Factory, Isaac Frimpong, Jemfi, and Benunye Forgive Adifu, I believe I got your name right, and the acting MD of Nerasol, that is Elvis Ativo. Gentlemen and lady, welcome to the show. Let me start with you, Isaac. Tell us, from a layman's perspective, what is coding?
All right, so when we talk about coding, we are looking at how you communicate instruction to a computer. So basically, to be called a programmer or a coder, you are looking at problem solving. And just as I'm speaking English, you understand because we are speaking the same language. The computer does not understand English language. So coding is you trying to speak a language that the computer understands. And that's what we are looking at.
Right. Forgive, who should learn about coding?
Everybody. Everybody should be able to understand what technology is and the tools that we use, looking at the current, the modern world, how tech is leading the world. I think everybody, being a doctor, teacher, whoever you are, you should be able to, or you can learn how to code, yes.
Right. Isaac, let me come back to you. Most of us are not IT inclined.
Yeah.
Does coding equate hacking?
No. No. Why? Because hackers have different jobs. Even though they use programming language to decrypt certain things on computers, but coding is sort of a way of communicating an instruction. So you can say that in hacking, you do coding, but they are not exactly the same thing.
Okay. Let me come to the acting MD of Nerasol, Mr. Elvis. Why this program?
So thank you. Basically, Nerasol is an IT company, and we are a member of the Just One Group of companies. And so we have been quite concerned about the general trend among the youth of our country. Globally, coding has become, like my two colleagues said, coding is a universal program now, which the world is implementing. And so it's important and so imperative that in Ghana, the younger generation that will be preparing for the next big things of our country also becomes familiar with that. If you watch generally, you will see that most of the young people, when they close from school every day, they are watching telenovelas and other programs. So we thought it wise that it's important for them to begin to develop their cognitive ability at very early stage. And so Nerasol, being an ICT company and leading the technological space of our country, we decided that it is about time that younger generations of our country becomes familiar with the language of coding and also develop the interest. And so by doing so, they would ultimately be able to decide if they want to choose a career in ICT or otherwise. So for us in the ICT space, this is a very fine opportunity to bring to the world or our country what is happening globally.
Right.
So that is why Nerasol decided that this program should become a novelty.
Right. Let me come to you, Forgive. How difficult is it learning coding?
Well, from where I started from, I think it was difficult for me. But if I had started earlier, it would have been easier because coding has a lot of mathematics in there, you see. So if I had gotten how to, calculate and do all these mathematical concepts earlier, coding would have been easy. I struggle a lot with the concepts, the understanding and all of that. I'm still learning.
Oh, really?
I'm still learning, yes. So many things, So it wasn't easy, but I think if you are passionate about it, it's easy to go about
Right.
it. And you need discipline if you want to become a programmer or coder.
Right.
You need discipline.
Okay. Isaac, there's this stereotype about women not liking mathematics, and Forgive just mentioned that coding involves a lot of mathematics. How are you going to make it a bit simple for women like herself and young children who have little to no interest in mathematics? Me, for instance, I never liked mathematics when I was in school. So someone like me, how do you make coding attractive to me by watching this program?
Okay, so let's take it from the perspective of teaching and learning, all right? From primary school all the way to SHS, where they have ICT classes, usually realize that kids always want to be in the ICT lab. Why? Because they see the computers and then fancy how they can do magic with it. Now, although with coding, you're going to do some logical reasoning, some mathematics and all that, but you have to tune the child's mind in the aspect of solving problem. Now, if you know that you are solving a problem and you know the tools that you need to solve the problem, it doesn't become difficult. But if you look at our current curriculum in our schools, GES, kids are scared of, or let me say girls are scared of mathematics. But even with that, today with STEM education, most of these ladies are overcoming the fear, and then some are even becoming mentors who are changing the narrative. So it boils down to the approach to teaching. If kids are learning to solve problems, it doesn't become difficult. But if they are learning because they want to pass an exam, that is where the fear mounts on them.
Right. Mr. Tivo, let me come to you. So what is the concept going to be like? Do you have a number of schools lined up that you're going to teach their students, or do you have selected students from selected places that are going to be part of the show?
Well, so this is a concept. We've already started some pilots. We did with IAS. We did 4 weeks intensive to introduce a concept to them. What we are targeting to do is to have select schools across the country, because definitely you will need a lab to be able to do coding, or for Code Factory to really be up and running. And so we have identified a number of schools that have the facility already that we intend to pilot this across the schools. So we will start with a select number of schools, and then we will expand the scope to include other schools. But for now, a select few schools, like the international schools, the Catholic schools, the military-based schools, these are the top levels of schools which already have labs, which we intend to pilot these in. Then we will come ultimately to the public schools. We are engaging with a number of schools already in the Ministry of Education to see how we can introduce this program on a large scale across the country. So ultimately, we are seeking to produce, as a country, the next Steve Jobs of the world.
Right.
We've had the Shatawalis and other music talents evolved,
Right.
but it is now time to develop the next Steve Jobs minds
Musk.
that Exactly. And if you watch the National Science and Quiz Maths, for example, ladies are performing wonders and even leading and topping most of the time. And so we believe, like the question you asked for GIF, for example, the classes that we have had showed us that the female gender has more superior capabilities than anyone can imagine. If you watch the class, the ladies are doing great things as much as the men. And so the program will ultimately be on individual capacity testing levels as well as group levels. So we will bring groups of schools together, and then we will put a competition in front of them, and then we see how they ultimately will code and solve specific problems that the tutors will be outlining.
Right. Thank you very much. Elvis Ativo is the acting managing director of Nerasol, which is a subsidiary of the Jospon Group of Company. We also had in the studio Mr. Isaac Frimpong, Gemfi, and Forgive Adifo. Thank you very much for joining me in the studio, gentlemen and lady. So do not miss the show. It premieres at 4:30 p.m. I'm told to ask Isaac one last question before we go for the commercial break. So where is the event being done? Where is it taking place? Which school?
Okay, so just as our director said, with the pilot edition that we had, we started on a Zoom where we had kids from just one group of companies, parents signing their kids on. And then from there, we went to AIS to also do a 4 weeks lessons for them. Now, with the program that we are looking at, which is going to be aired on Metro TV, Mondays to Wednesdays at 4:30.
Okay. So if somebody wants to join, the person is watching on television, maybe I'm a kid of 12 years, what do I need to follow what they're doing on Code Factory?
All right, so you can visit our website, nerasolgh.com/codefactory. There's a registration page there that you can sign your child on. And then our team will get back to you and then enroll the child. Yeah.
Isaac, Forgive, Elvis, thank you once again for coming to the studio.